Hello everyone, we are going to discuss on the topic systematization of sports training for beginners, intermediate and high performance sportspersons. First we will start with a general introduction. Sports training is a very vast area in itself. However, it is based on facts, that is, it is scientific, it is systematic and follows a specific path. Just as the life cycle follows a set pattern right from the time of inception in the womb of a mother and gradually a person ages, that is the chronological age. Similarly, training too follows a set pattern. The training age of a sportsperson differs from his chronological age, as the training age of a sportsperson starts from the day when he sets foot on the playfield. It starts from the basics and ends when a sportsperson retires from it. As we are aware that sports training is a complex process of preparation of sportspersons, it is a sum total of various parts, phases, cycles, different proportions of training elements, load dynamics, etc. In order to decide what part, phase, elements and load is best suited for an individual, it is very essential to understand the systematic pattern that sports training follows. First, we will shed light on the systematization of sports training. The systematization of the training process of a sportsperson begins with the basic training and ends when the aim of sports training is achieved, that is, the attainment of high performance. In view of this statement, the sportsperson can be categorized into the following three categories. First is the beginner, second is the advanced or intermediate, and the third is the high performance sportsperson. It is difficult to point out exactly as to where one phase ends and the other phase begins. It is also very difficult to say the exact age at which a sportsperson should start training for a specific sport. However, researches conducted by professionals indicate that the process begins at the age of 10 to 12 years and continues till the achievement of high performance comparable to national and international standards. The duration of training from beginner to high performer differs from individual to individual, sports to sport, and the nature of the activity. It has, however, been observed that the training process of speed-dominated games are shorter than the training process as compared to strength and endurance-dominated games in order to achieve high performance. Keeping in mind the above three categories of sportspersons, sports training at each level can be classified as follows. First is the basic training, second is the advanced training, and the third and the last one is the high performance training. Basic training aims at the general long-term preparation of a sportsperson. It forms the base for a player to move on to the next level. The stronger the base, the easier it becomes for a sportsperson to reach the desired level of sports performance earlier. In addition, this level of training also aims to develop qualities of character and will, which is also an important task of sports training. The prime focus during this stage of training is placed on the following aspects. First is the consolidation of health. Second is the development of motor qualities, namely speed, endurance, strength, flexibility and coordinative abilities by means of multi-sided physical training so that each of the motor component is equally developed. The third and the most important is to develop rough form pertaining to skills of a sport or an event. Fourth is to provide competitive experience to a sportsperson so as to enable him to learn to react and behave according to the demands of the competition. the training program during basic training is more general rather than specific, as it is the training period where development of the physical and motor abilities of the sportsperson is to be completed. Hence, the content of training shall be as follows. Firstly, to ensure the all-round development of athletic ability of a sportsperson, a variety of training methods and means need to be adopted. Secondly, exercise should be selected and performed from other games and sports. A rugby player may participate in football, as similar motor components need to be developed in both. Thirdly, equal weightage should be given for the selection and application of exercises for the development of different motor abilities. Next, the ratio between the general and specific training means should be 70:30. From the points mentioned above, it can be clearly understood that more focus should be given to general preparation of a sportsperson during the basic stage of the systematization of sports training. Basic training of a sportsperson starts at the age of 10 to 12 years, which are considered to be the formative years in the life of a sportsperson. It is seen that the duration of this training period ranges between 3 to 4 years. Since this is the stage where the foundation for further training is laid, hence the coach should be very careful in designing and implementing the training sessions, and all the major and minor errors committed on the part of the sportsperson should be rectified during this training stage. The next phase of training is the advanced training. On the completion of basic training, the sportsperson enters the advanced level of training. As the word itself suggests, the demands of advanced level of training are higher than that of the former. All the qualities that a sportsperson develops during the basic training are to be further developed and consolidated. The level of motor qualities and skills developed during the former stage is to be improved. The qualities of character and will are to be adapted to higher motor abilities and skills. As the degree of training load increases, hence the requirement of training also increases. Participation in competitions goes up. Most importantly, the sportsperson proceeds from general to specific. He now focuses on the specific sport that he is going to specialize in. Keeping in mind all these points, the tasks that need to be fulfilled during this stage can be summed up as follows. First, further consolidation and strengthening of health. As the training load is high, hence the health of the sportsperson is likely to be affected. Secondly, further development of motor abilities which are more special for the selected specific sport by adopting relevant training means. Thirdly, mastery of technique to be acquired. Next, readiness to undertake task. Fifth, development of self-reliance on the part of the sportsperson. Advanced training is the phase where a sportsperson prepares himself to indulge completely in the competitive setting. Hence, the training process should be designed accordingly. The contents of the training are as follows. Both general and specific training means are to be applied at the advanced training stage. Training means of supplementary sports are applied in order to improve the motor qualities of a specialized sport. The ratio between the general and the specific means of training should be either 60:40 or 50:50. Equal importance is to be given to both general and specific training during this phase. As discussed earlier, the beginning of the advanced stage of training depends upon the performance reached by a sportsperson at the end of basic training. It further depends on the rate of development of physical and psychic qualities of the sportsperson. The duration of the advanced training ranges in between 2 to 4 years. However, The actual duration of this phase depends on the performance reached by the sportsperson at the end of the training period. The player, by the end of this training stage, should be able to attain average or even above average level of sports performance. High performance training is the final stage of the systematization of sports training. It is highly specific and aims to reach optimal performance standards in a chosen sport, which may be comparable to national and international standards. The sportsperson should attain high performance efficiency at the time of the main competition or tournament or national and international championship, which is made possible by following the process of periodization. The sportsperson should develop an all-round personality, good behavior, and positive attitude so as to be a good example for the youngsters. There are certain tasks that should be fulfilled in order to achieve the aim of high performance training. The tasks are listed below. Firstly, specific motor qualities specific to a chosen sport are to be developed to the optimal level. Second, the general fitness of the sportsperson should be developed and consolidated in accordance with the specific requirements. The general fitness of a sportsperson greatly influences the specific qualities of a sportsperson in a specific sport. Third, the technical and tactical aspects of the sportsperson should be developed in such a way that they do not get affected under the stress of the competition. Focus should also be given to the psychomotor component of the sportsperson. The intellectual preparation should be optimum and the qualities of character and will must be accomplished under high competitive requirements of the sport. High performance training requires preparing the sportsperson in all the four areas, that is physical, intellectual, technical and tactical, to the optimal level. In addition to the training that the sportsperson has to undergo during the basic and advanced level, further emphasis is laid on the following two aspects that form the content of high performance training. First, the selection and application of training methods and means depends upon the aim of high performance training and also on the individual characteristics of the sportsperson. And secondly, the ratio of general and specific training depends on the chosen sport and also on the strong and weak points of the sportsperson. The ratio of either 70:30 or 80:20 or 90:10 in the favor of specific training which is found suitable. This stage of training, being the final stage of training, lasts the longest in the most of the cases, as the beginning of the high performance training period depends upon the performance reached in a chosen sport at the end of advanced training. The duration of this stage is not fixed and depends upon the rate at which the sportsperson develops and attains the aim of high performance training, that is, to attain performance comparable to national and international standards. To conclude the topic, we can also say that sports today is a big industry and there is no room for errors in it. Even a tiny speck of error on the part of the coach or the sportsperson can lead to huge damage. The training of a sportsperson is a crucial part of the heavy duty that the coach, trainer, physical education professional has at his disposal. In order to guarantee optimal performance, he has to be very specific on the path that he will take to lead the sportsperson to the desired level of performance. The systematization of sports training plays an important role as it gives direction not only to the coach but to the sportsperson as well about the journey of training that he will undertake. The end of each level of training serves as a checkpoint for both the coach and the sports person that whether or not they are heading in the right direction. When the aim of each stage of training is achieved, it boosts the confidence of the coach as well as the sports person that the training process has revealed its results. Thus, systematization of sports training is very essential for the attainment of the aim of sports training, that is to prepare a sports person physically, physiologically and psychologically for a highest possible sports performance. With this, we can conclude the topic. Thank you.